Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Yoma. We are up to Perek Gimel Mishnah Tet. Today's Mishnayot should be Leilu Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana, Ranbai ben Eliyahu ben Barachai Israelov, Menuchatam beGan Eden, Amen. Besides the bull, two other animals were used in the special service of Yom Kippur. He-goats. Of these two goats, one was brought as a Hatan offering, another was sent to Azazel, who was thrown off a cliff. Lots were used to determine which goat would meet which fate. The Mishnah begins, Balo lemizrach hazra litzvon hamizbeach. He went to the eastern part of the courtyard north of the altar. Hasgan mimino, with the deputy Kohen Gadol walking on his right. V'rosh betav mismalo, and the head of that day's family of Kohanim walking on his left. Now each family of Kohanim had a leader. The family of Kohanim whose turn came on Yom Kippur performed all the services that were not done by the Kohen Gadol. Visham Shnei Sirim, the two he-goats were standing there in front of the Nikanor gate in the western wall of the courtyard. Now the goats were required to be in the courtyard when the lottery took place, as the Torah writes in Sefer Vayikra chapter 16 pasuk 7. However, they were not brought to the area between the ulam and the altar where the Kohen Gadol had just recited the confession on the bull, for fear that they might defecate near the altar. Instead, they were made to stand just within the eastern entrance to the courtyard, and the lottery was performed there. The goat chosen to be the Hatad offering was not taken to the area between the ulam and the altar until the time arrived for slaughtering it. Like the bull, the goats were positioned in the northern half of the courtyard because all services that relate to Kodesh Kodeshim, most holy offerings, were performed in the north. V'kalpi aita sham uva shnei goralot, and a wooden box was there in which there were two lots. Shel eshkeroa hayu, originally the lots were made of boxwood, a wood of superior quality. Vasan ben Gamla shel zav, but when Yeshua ben Gamla became the Kohen Gadol, he made them of gold. Vayu maskirin oto leshevach, and the rabbis would mention Yeshua ben Gamla as being worthy of praise for having done this. And that is the Rabotai of Mishnah Tet. Mishnah Yud now continues to discuss how we concluded praising, the Mishnah praised Yeshua ben Gamla for making golden lots. The Mishnah digresses to the praise for the people for their contributions to the temple. Ben Katin asa shneim asar dad lakior. Ben Katin, Kohen Gadol, made 12 faucets for the kior, shelo hayu lo ele shnayim, which previously had only 2. He made 12 so that all the 12 Kohanim who carried the tamid to the altar could wash their hands and feet at the same time. Now this refers to the 12 Kohanim whom the second lottery selected to serve. Although 13 Kohanim won that lottery, the one who slaughtered the tamid is not included, since slaughtering and offering is not a true avodah service, as is evident from the fact that it may be done even by a non-Kohen. Whoever performs it does not have to wash his hands and feet. Vafu asa muchni lakior, he also made a device for lowering the kior into a well every night. Shelo yu memav nifsalin belina, so the kior's water would not be connected to the water. So that the kior's water would be connected to the water in the well and not disqualified by being left overnight. Now the commentaries explain when an item that is fit to be offered on the altar, for example water, meat, or flowers, put in a sacred vessel for the sake of a temple service, the item itself becomes sacred. Therefore it becomes subject to a number of laws, including the law of lina, staying overnight, which states that if a sacred item is left overnight, it may no longer be offered on the altar. Therefore, water that remained overnight in the kior, which is a sacred vessel, could not be used the next morning. To prevent this, Ben Katin made a wheel that lowered the kior into a well at the end of the day, so that its water would merge with the water of the ground and thereby lose its separate identity. When the kior was brought up again, it contained new water, which had not become disqualified through lina. Munbas HaMelech haya osek kol yedot hakelim shel Yom HaKippurim shel zahav. King Munbaz made all the handles of the utensils used in Yom Kippur service out of gold. This refers to utensils that could not themselves be made of gold, such as knives, since gold is too soft for cutting, but their handles could be made of gold. Hilni imo asta nivreshet shel zahav al pitcho shel echal. Queen Henley, his mother, made a golden candelabra and placed it at the entrance to the sanctuary. The candelabra was positioned in such a way that when it was hit by sunlight in the morning, sparkles of reflected light radiated from it, and everyone would know that the time for reciting Shema had arrived. Vafi asta tavla shel zav sheparashat sota ketuba alea She also made a golden tablet on which the Torah passage of the suspected adulteress was written, so that when the passage was written in the temple, it could be copied from the tablet, and there was no need to bring a Torah scroll. Now, the Torah says that if a husband warns his wife not to be alone with a particular man, and she does so anyway, they must separate. And if she insists that she is innocent and they do not want to separate, the husband must take her to the temple where she swears that she did not sin. The words of the oath which appear in Sefer Bamidbar are written on parchment. The writing is erased in sacred water mixed with earth from the temple floor. She drinks the water, which would miraculously prove her guilt or innocence. To avoid the need to bring a Sefer Torah from which to copy the oath, Queen Hilni donated a tablet containing the text. A tablet hung on the wall of the sanctuary, and the temple scribe copied from it. Nicanor na'asu nisim ledaltotav. Nicanor had doors of great craftsmanship made in the city of Alexandria in Egypt, and when he brought them on a ship to the temple, miracles happened to his doors. And the commentators explained the ship was battered by a severe storm, and the sailors threw one of the doors overboard to lighten its load. They wanted to throw the other door into the sea, but Nicanor insisted they throw him together with it. At that very moment, the storm abated. When they reached the port of Akko in Eretz Israel, the first door floated up from under the ship. The doors were installed in the eastern gate of the temple courtyard, which became known as Nicanor's gate. The sages would mention each one of the people listed above as being worthy of praise for their contribution to the temple. The way we read the Mishnah is Oto, the sage will mention him, which sounds like it's going on Nicanor, but the Meiri explains it's going on each of the people that we listed, again, as being worthy of praise for their contributions to the temple. And that is in Rabotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.